Hi, and welcome to another edition of The Buzz, a show that we tape here at Abington Cam Studio, here in Abington Middle High School. My name is Shawn Reilly, I'm your host, and it's always our desire to try to bring some of the student athletes from Abington High School here on the show so that you at home can kind of get to know them a little bit better, and we can also talk to them and congratulate them on their successes. And so today we're joined by two all-star softball players who've had a stellar season. I want to welcome aboard McDonald and Elsie Testa. Welcome aboard, girls.
Thanks for having us.
No worries. You guys just capped off a very successful season, 17-6.
Yes.
South Shore League All-Stars. Made it to the Elite Eight in the MIAA tournament for the third time in 4 years. You guys got to be happy with your performance. Did you think you'd get beyond the Elite Eight? I mean, you played a tough Uxbridge team, a 1-0 game. Is that about as far as you thought you'd go, or did you think you had a chance to go even further this year?
I mean, we obviously definitely were confident that we had a chance to go further. We knew Uxbridge was going to be really good.
Yeah.
The pitcher, was very good, and we all knew that going into the game. But yeah, we played our hearts out in that game. I'd say we did everything we could, and 1-0 is not bad at all.
Typical playoff game, right? I mean, most playoff games you're not going to see 13-10 games. You're going to see 1-0, 3-2, things like that. You guys are not only teammates, but you're battery mates. Meaning, Elsie, you're the starting pitcher. Maddie, you're the starting catcher. Last year, you were a second baseman, right? This is your first year as a catcher. How do you like the switch? That's a big switch.
It definitely was a hard switch. We eased into it last year. When we would do plays and stuff, I'd rotate with Casey, so I would just get a little glimpse of it, and then I definitely worked on the off season, and it was definitely something that I wasn't so eager about. I didn't know if I was gonna like it or not, but then obviously having this good of a pitcher, I couldn't really complain.
Yeah.
So
what do you think, Elsie? How'd she do this year?
Madison really stepped up because obviously Casey was really good, but I used to in town ball when Madison moved here from, it was Milton, right? She would catch for me in town ball, so when Casey was gone, I was oh, I know we'll be fine because I know Madison will step up and she'll do great, and she did amazing.
You did do great. You were solid behind the plate, and then you can't say enough about how solid you were on the pitcher's mound. I mean, especially with softball, it is key to have a really tough and dominant pitcher if you want to go far in the playoffs, right? I mean, and that's every playoff team had a good dominant pitcher. And Elsie Testa, you're now a 2-year All-Star. You're also a 2-year All-Star. You're a junior. You're a sophomore. Tell me about your experience as being on the mound. Does it carry a lot of weight on your shoulders as a starting pitcher?
Definitely. It's definitely nerve-wracking, but I feel the defense, I've always been able to trust our defense. Last year we were really good, and I knew the same thing this year because I knew everyone would be able to make the plays. So that's kind of what I just go out there, throw the pitches, and know that they'll make plays for me.
That's a good point because you don't have to strike out everyone to win the game, right? You just need to have a solid defense behind you, a good shortstop, second baseman for infield and outfield. However, it really helps when you're on fire. And tell me about the Carver game. How good was that for you? Or you can tell us. What happened at the Carver game?
I threw a perfect game. It was really good. But Madison called the game, actually. She did so good. So I wouldn't have been able to do it without her.
So tell us, for the viewers at home, what does it mean to throw a perfect game?
To have every out of the game.
Right. I mean, no hits, right? I mean, it was just, you were just dominant. You were just mowing them down. It was outstanding. You had 17 strikeouts in another game, I wrote down. That was the playoff game against Manchester Essex, right? Yeah. Good way to start the playoffs. How does it work between the catcher and the pitcher? How many pitches do you throw?
I have 5.
5 different pitches.
Yeah.
So some curveballs, some fastballs, obviously, a changeup. And how do you decide which one to throw?
So our coach has a sheet, and Madison has a wristband, so she'll yell out oh, 221, and Madison will take the sign and then throw it out in a number and a location for me.
Yeah.
Because it's important for you, Maddie, to know what she's about to throw.
Yeah.
If it's coming at you fast or if it's going to curve or whatever, right? Especially with runners on base. You don't want to be throwing a curveball to her if she's expecting it to come straight, right?
Yeah.
How's your arm down to second base and third base?
The beginning of the season, it definitely felt a little sore just because I didn't do that last year.
Yeah.
But I definitely got used to it, and There was very minimal times people could steal because I feel like it was always just like Elsie's throws were just like always where they needed to be.
Yeah.
So they were never like pass balls or anything.
And it's good because most of your opponents had very few runners on base, so I think they were kind of nervous to try to steal and then lose that runner. Let's talk about some of the other girls in your team, though. You're a very young softball team, even though you're a very successful softball team, 17-6 this year.
Yeah.
You have 2 seniors on the team, Brenna and Allie.
Yeah.
Talk about those 2 girls there, because they're going to lose. We're going to lose them. They're going to move on. But just chit chat about those girls for a while.
Allie was definitely like she was a team manager. Like she literally did everything like in the dugout. She was amazing. And Brenna, like she's just like a star player. Like I don't think anyone else could like do what she could. Like being a leadoff batter, like that's tough. And I feel like she just like did what she could. And like her plays at shortstop, they would like.
3-time All-Star.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brenna like showed up every day at practice. Like she was never like not gonna try her hardest, and that's part of the reason like why she's such a good player.
Yeah.
And then in the games, she would make insane plays that you will not see other shortstops making. And she like, a ball would get hit in the outfield. I'd be like, Brenna's gonna get that. Like she's just like. She was so good. And she was such a good leader too. So I definitely looked up to her, like being a captain with her. She always like made good like choices and
Kind of
stuff.
sets the standard for everyone else. So looking forward to next year, you got a lot of freshmen, sophomore, and juniors all moving up. As I said, you're a junior, you're a sophomore. What's the outlook? I mean, it's got to be pretty encouraging for you guys.
I definitely think it would be a lot similar from this year. Like last year, a lot of people didn't think we'd get as far as we did, and so like it definitely was like encouraging how far we got. Like knowing that like people didn't have like a lot of like I guess confidence in us, but I feel like it will be definitely like the same thing as next year.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say the same thing. I think like being the underdog is always like good because people like don't think like, oh, Abington's gonna be that good, but we show up and then we do like great. And I think we'll be really good next season too, because obviously losing Brenna is like hard, but we'll find someone who can do.
Is there a team in the league that you also see is going to be strong next year that you kind of have to keep your eyes on, or do you think you're still going to be the number 1 placeholder for the league next year?
I think we should still be up there.
Yeah. It seemed to be that you were pretty dominant in the league this year.
Yeah.
And then after you win the league, you both get named All-Stars. You had a couple of All-Stars on your team, right? We had Brenna and Malia Goldberg, Riley Agnew, Elsie, and Maddie were all All-Stars for this team. There was the South Shore Player of the Year, I think. I can't remember who it was. Was it Elsie Testa, right? That was great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Quite an honor. What is it? How do you guys get ready in practice? What's it like? Is Coach Olam real regimented? We're gonna play hard. We're gonna be real strict, or is it kind of a loose kind of let's kind of have fun with this and be a better player? How do you do it to get ready for each game?
I feel like it depends on the day. Like depends on the game before, because I would say we have a lot of fun at all practices. I think we have a lot of fun. Yeah. But when we need to like focus on certain things, they'll get focused on, and we'll get what we need to get done.
Yeah, it definitely is like we have fun, and she will be like some strict, but like I guess it's like about like if we want to do like good plays and like show like this is how we can be in a practice, like it definitely like follows into a game. So like if we'll have such good practice, like I have like high hopes that like the game will be like really good the next day.
Right, you get a little good mojo.
She likes to leave practice like confident. Like she's not gonna let us leave if we didn't have a good practice. Like she wants to leave like knowing that we just had a great practice, so we're gonna have a great game.
I don't know her as well as you do, but Coach Olam seems to be just loves the game. Loves the game and loves the girls and all that. Is that what obviously that's what you guys see and feel every day? Oh,
she loves it. She's like, I went home and thought about this play for an hour. I went home and thought about this. Like she's all in. She loves it.
That kind of good feeling for you guys, and you have someone at your back all the time.
It's like definitely good because I feel like all of our coaches like want it as much as we do and like love it as much as we do. So it's like makes it like easier.
Yeah. So what do you think your team has to improve on for next year as you move on as a senior?
I think definitely our hitting.
Our hitting, yeah.
It's going to be a big thing because, hitting's like probably one of the hardest parts of the game, but if we can like start hitting better, I think we can make it even further than we did.
And how do you practice hitting? That's just kind of a dumb question, but it's got to be somewhat challenging because you're not going to throw batting practice at every practice because you're going to save your arm for the game. So I know you can use a pitching machine, but those are sometimes.
We have a pitching machine. It definitely like. I guess it helps a little bit, but it's not that accurate.
Yeah.
I don't think you can compare that to like an actual pitcher. Like it's just not the same.
Right.
Because you're gonna get up there, and if you have the machine set up, it's either gonna throw outside where she sets it up, or
it's
down the middle. Like
right.
Like
that's happened a couple times.
Yeah.
It's not like an actual pitcher like throwing different pitches.
And there's a big jump. Same is true in baseball, but when you're playing in the league, there are some teams with some pretty good pitches and some teams that don't have strong pitching at all. But when you get into the playoffs, every team's got a pretty strong pitcher. And you guys saw it. They saw it when they played you. All of a sudden, the game really changes, right? I mean, if you can't hit a fast pitcher, a good pitcher, it's tough in the playoffs to get runners on base.
Yeah, I feel like going into playoffs, we knew we were going to face better pitching, but I think Coach, she also did a great job like having us play Bedford, Norton, Middleborough, because they all have like good pitchers. Like Norton and Bedford both are great pitchers. Middleborough, I'm trying to think what other
They're like
teams.
Outside your league, but they're better teams to get you ready for the
So I feel like
playoffs.
she definitely like had us play them, which did help a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. What other sports do you guys enjoy?
Basketball.
Basketball, yes, I've seen you play several times.
Volleyball.
Volleyball.
Yeah.
Do you just play? How many years have you been playing volleyball?
2.
2 years.
Yeah.
Why do you like those games? Different games.
I feel like honestly it's completely different, but it's like nice to be able to go and like play with a different group of girls and like play a different sport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like basketball. I mean, I've always played basketball, but like I guess it's like so much different than softball, and like they're like I guess like opposites, but I just like I don't know, shooting ball, being with those group of girls is also very exciting.
Being a student athlete is a lot of time and time management. You go to school during the day, you've got your practice or your game, you've got your homework, you've got other things. Some kids have part-time jobs. Is it tough for you, or is it just kind of what your life is and has been?
I guess like since going into high school, like I guess I kind of just like eased into it, like the freshman year, or I guess like 8th grade. It was definitely a lot. Like sometimes I complain and be like, this is just like a lot, but like as like I grew as like a person, like I guess it just like it's what I want to do, and like I want to do something I like, and if I'm not enjoying it, like
it's a good release.
Yeah,
too, right?
I feel the same. I think that like when we like lost and I like had to go home right after school and I like didn't get to go to practice or like go pick up some of the younger girls from their houses and bring them to practice, like I don't know. It's just like what I like. I like to be busy, so.
Yeah. How do you feel like it must be? It's really important for the upperclassmen and the girls who are playing to kind of mentor the younger girls on the team. And I just watching you guys, I can see that you do that. Do you remember that being done for you by the older girls?
Definitely. I think like since I joined the softball team in 8th grade, there was always like a group of like older girls that like always kind of like the seniors, I feel like they were always there for the younger kids. So like I feel like we've made that a thing. I think we all have like a really good bond. Like it doesn't matter what grade you're in, if you're a freshman, if you're a senior, like I think we all like get along and like we all treat each other exactly the same, which is like definitely important, and it like carries on to the field.
Yeah, you'll definitely see it on the field.
Yeah, and I think it's really cool that in any given game, any one of them might get the big hit or the big catch. Ella Franey, had a home run in one game, a big home run, and then Malia had a couple of great plays. And that gets them kind of more confident, right?
Definitely.
So I mean, I just can't wait till next year.
Yeah,
I mean,
same.
that whole group of players, other than Brennan and Allie, are moving forward with the same coach who's always energetic and enthusiastic. And how about your fan base? You got a pretty good following. Obviously, the parents are there and some of your classmates are there. Do you hear them when you're playing?
Definitely. Like when I'm walking up to like hit and I just hear it, like it just makes a smile on my face knowing like it's not like, I guess like all of me. Like I like when like people are cheering for like everyone. It definitely like brings it like more exciting, like when there's like an out or something or like a very like good catch. Like it's just like more uplifting.
You mentioned that you like to hear grandparents in the bleachers. Why is that?
I don't know. I guess like they like sometimes I'll see them, like a lot of them traveled to like far places that we went to. Yeah. Like, and it's just like seeing people like care that much to travel that far for us. I guess it like
it feels good.
Yeah, it feels like very good knowing people like care about the game and care about like us.
Yeah, we got to pretty good. Well, you guys have a pretty good thing going on here at Abington High School. There's a lot of support for athletics and for drama and music and extracurriculars. 'Cause tell me how important. We kind of just touched on it, but it's important that you just don't go to school and go home at 2 o'clock. You know, and I'm talking about students as a whole. To have that other, whatever it is that interests you, to kind of get into that and do that. Do you guys see? Do you guys have any sort of relationship with other athletes, like the baseball team or the other basketball team? I know you. Let me put it another way. I found, and by talking to other student athletes, sports is one of the places where you really build friendships.
Yeah. Yes.
Right? You really get to know people beyond just being a classmate.
Yeah.
Right? Talk to me about that, about some of the relationship that you've made and what being in athletics does for you.
I feel like, I feel like since like town ball, like I've played with like a bunch of these girls and like I like grew like friendships with them then. So like I feel like playing with them now, like I've grown like even tighter friendships and like new people who have played. Like I don't know, I feel like in all sports, like I definitely have like gained so many friendships.
Yeah, if you're having a tough game, you know those girls are going to help bring you up. Right?
Yes,
and if they're having a tough game, you're going to be right over there, you know, bringing them up.
Yeah.
That camaraderie is just something that can't be replaced. We always talk about it's fun playing together and stuff, but sometimes it's even the bus rides home.
Yeah.
Memorable.
Oh, we have a lot of fun on the bus. We have like a giant speaker.
Yes.
Can we talk about what you do on the bus? Can we talk into you? Okay, so what do we do?
We like to sing a lot.
We sing a lot.
Yeah. We have some good like snacks on the bus.
Oh yeah, we always have food on the bus.
We get very into it.
Who's the lead singer of the team?
Switch off. Depends on the song.
It honestly does depend on the song, yeah. I feel like everyone's always hype on the bus.
Yeah.
Even on the way home from Uxbridge.
Yeah, it was like
fun.
Yeah, it was definitely like a little bit emotional because it was like our last game. Right. So like we were all just like
gone, but
having fun. Like,
but we always have fun.
Yeah.
So what are you doing for the summer? Any plans this summer? Are you working? Are you in any leagues? What are you doing?
I work at Cream, ice cream place in Abington.
Oh yeah, I knew that somehow.
And then I'm playing club softball. Yep.
How about you, Maddie?
I'm working. I'm doing basketball camp right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we have
the softball camp.
Yeah, we have softball camp.
You do? What's the softball game? You guys are helping to run?
Yeah, the high school team runs it with our coaches.
That's in July?
Yeah, the end of July.
So for younger girls who are out there who want to try to work on some of their techniques and stuff.
Yes, everyone come.
So they can go, if you're interested, you can go to abingtonrec.com, abingtonrec.com, and there's information about the upcoming July softball camp right here in Abington. And these girls and others on the team are going to be basically your hosts, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, have you done it for a couple of years now?
Yes.
Yeah. I think since 8th grade we started to do it, and I always had so much fun because you like got to talk to little girls. They like look up to you. You can tell so much, and like I have fun myself too. We like scrimmage. We just do a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, and it's like fun seeing like the youth kids like in a couple of years like they'll like take over our spots. Yeah. So like definitely like it helps knowing that like these girls will like grow into something like big and like they like have like encouragement for the game and they like all like.
Isn't it kind of cool, like if you're in Trookies or whatever, and one of those kids sees you,
so cute,
and they like because to them, you are, you know, really just kind of some sort of big sports figure, which is great. And it's a role that you guys, I admire how you are the ambassadors of Abington sports. You know, and you're good to the little kids because that just feeds the program.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? Yes. And did you guys play youth softball? Yeah,
I did. You played too, right?
Yes, I did too.
So Elsie, you have been, you know, just excelling as a pitcher. How do you, it's kind of a weird open-ended question, but how do you get good at being a pitcher?
So I actually like didn't used to pitch that much when I was younger. I played second base and outfield, and then my club team like really needed a pitcher, so I kind of had to step up. But I like go to pitching lessons. I work at practice. I think it's just like the mindset. Like if you want it, you can do it.
Yep. And now, I jotted some notes down because I think people at home got to know how good you are, okay? And I don't mean to blow up your head here, but you won the Arnold Trophy this year, which is a trophy given for excellence, athletic, and scholarships and sportsmanship. You had your 400th strikeout on May 15th, and you've been adding, obviously, to that. Which, by the way, Brenna Howley hit her 100th career hit, and May 21st. She's going to play college softball.
Yes, she is.
I mentioned you're the South Shore League Player of the Year. You're another two-time South Shore League All-Star, and you're actually the Player of the Year 2 times in a row, right? You were Player of the Year last year.
Yeah.
Just impressive. And we talked about your perfect game. You had the playoff game with 17 strikeouts, but it's kind of, again. I know your parents are proud, and the team is proud. They love having you on the mound, but it's nice to also hear that your confidence is built about the team behind you.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're not going to strike out everyone, but you do know that odds are, if they're able to hit a ground ball, they're going to get thrown out of first
definitely.
base. Right?
Yeah.
How's this catcher doing?
So good. She I could tell, at first I knew you were like, oh, I'll do anything for us, but I knew you loved second base from last year and you did so good at second base. But I knew you would step up and do great, and you did. You threw, how many people did you throw out? You threw people out, right? Stealing? Yeah, and she blocked a bunch of stuff. She called great games. She's a great job all around.
You kind of comfortable behind the plate now?
Yeah, I definitely, through the season and having someone so encouraging, I guess we're both encouraging to each other.
Yeah.
So it definitely helps a lot knowing that someone's there for me, even if I do something if I mess up or I don't get someone out or something like that. Knowing that someone's there, it definitely skyrocketed how I feel about catching.
I think the bond we have definitely helped too, because if one of us did something off, we would call timeout or talk, or after the inning we would talk, and we do a little handshake before every inning.
Yeah.
And that kind of just locks us in.
I was just going to ask you that because you guys can kind of read each other. Obviously, you know each other so well. So if you see that she's just in a funk, you go out to the mound. What does you say to her? Well, maybe you don't want to tell. It's a secret or whatever. But how is it that you can loosen her up, or is it just something you tell her Elsie?
I feel
your mind.
even before a game, if I was off, she would be I can tell something's wrong, what's wrong, and then we'd just talk about it, and by the time we'd get to the game, we'd be fine. Or during the game, we'll just have our little chat. She'll come out, we'll talk about something, and then we'll figure it out from there.
So how does it work if you are giving her signals and you tell her you want a fastball and she shakes you off?
Well,
what
then
happens?
she'll I guess knowing what she'll do or her movements, I can tell either oh, she wants it outside, or oh, she's a good she'll be a good hitter outside, let's move it inside. I can kind of see from her, and I'll look at coach, and she'll tell me what to do. So I guess I have those people to lean off on, but also if I am thinking something, I guess we would both just communicate if she doesn't want to throw this pitch, or I'll just be you can do it, but if something were to happen, we know about it next time, so it's not really a big issue.
I think some people at home who aren't familiar with the game think that the pitcher just picks a pitcher and throws it, and the catcher just has to kind of react to it.
No,
and
definitely
that's
not.
the worst thing that could ever happen, right? You need to know what she's about to throw.
Yeah.
And I know it's an interesting thing because it's actually the three of you making the decision, Elsie and Maddie and the coach, all trying to figure out. Do you guys look at the scouting reports and know what certain batters like and don't like?
Oh yeah, coach prints that out right away and
Really?
shows us both. Every single game she has something written.
We'll know if it's up the middle, or if second shortstop near pin shanks, it's gonna go up the middle, or take a step back, come in.
Yeah.
Or I think that definitely helped too, knowing where they're gonna hit it, because then we'll base the pitch off of that too.
Yeah.
So
meaning you'll keep it inside or whatever, or try to keep it low. This girl likes to swing at the high fastball.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I mean, very, very valuable information too, right? I mean, because especially when you get into playoffs now, a lot of times you don't have a lot of scouting reports against these girls from Western Massachusetts. So it just does, you do as best as you can.
Yeah.
When you're not playing softball, you're here at Abington High School. What are your favorite classes that you enjoy, or a favorite teacher that you just kind of really look forward to every day?
Miss McHugh definitely, but now she's retired, which is really sad. But I loved her class. I had her for 2 years in a row, and it was just so fun.
What did she teach?
English.
English.
Yep.
How about you, Maddie?
I liked Miss McHugh as well, but I also liked Miss Parsons. She was my history teacher. That class was fun.
Great. Yeah. Great. Anything you want to say to your fans, out there in Green Wave Nation? One thing we'll say is next year, get down there to the softball field.
Yeah.
And come to these games.
Definitely.
Because you're guaranteed, most likely you're going to see a victory. But it is really it's almost this great mix of intensity and kind of frivolity, like you're having fun.
Yeah, we have so
Yeah.
much
But you're
fun.
working hard, and you guys are coached very well.
Yes.
So I just got to congratulate you. Great season individually, great season as a team. We wanted to have you on again because it's kind of a prelude to next year. We hope to have you back, and we'll talk more positive things, next spring. Or maybe we'll see you in the fall, whatever. But I want to thank you for coming on to The Buzz. And I want to wish you well. Have a great summer.
Thank you.
And
you
we
too.
will talk more about Abington Athletics with Maddie McDonald and Elsie Testa in the months to come. We're going to take a quick break, though, and come back with our athletic director, Peter Serino, and just talk about kind of everything good that happened here at Abington High School out there on the sports fields of Abington, representing Abington High School and the Green Wave. We'll be back in just a minute. All right, we're back to this edition of The Buzz, filming here at the Abington studio at Abington High School, and I'm pleased to welcome on board to the set our athletic director, Mr. Peter Serino. Hello, Mr. Serino.
Hello, Shawn. Thanks for having us, and thanks for putting together these shows all year long.
I really enjoy it. We have a lot of fun here at the studio, bringing in some of the student athletes, and we do appreciate a lot of your cooperation behind the scenes, recruiting some of our guest stars, and obviously Maddie and Elsie did a great job. We asked you to come on board because we kind of want to do a review of everything that happened this past spring at Abington High School. A lot of success from the athletic department. Let's talk about it. I mean, we had baseball, softball, lacrosse, track, all out there working. And did I miss anybody?
Ultimate Frisbee.
Ultimate Frisbee. Yep. Well, let's start right there. Ultimate Frisbee, another really impressive showing.
Yeah, I think, you say recap all the successes. We certainly won't remember, or I won't remember all of them because we're fortunate that there are so many. But Ultimate Frisbee had a great year. Coach Jason Scott, he's back. I think it was his second year and his second tour of duty. But the team had a great year, kind of building the program a little bit. They have some younger kids, but a lot of older kids, and they were able to have a strong season. They really had some strong games. They beat Situate, which is a perennial contender. That I believe this senior group, it was the first time that they had beaten them. They hosted a tournament again and finished. I think they finished third in their own tournament, and then they went to states and they outperformed their ranking. So in the state tournament, all the teams are ranked based off their regular season. And Frisbee's a little bit different. It's a one-day tournament. but they were able to place higher than they went in. So that's great. They upset some teams, and they were really proud of their season.
They really do challenge themselves too. They don't play just the local schools. They're playing some of the private schools and some just larger schools that you wouldn't think a little town like Abington would be able to compete against, but they show up and they do it.
Yeah, that's the thing with ultimate frisbee is it's a growing sport, but it's kind of a niche sport, and a lot of schools our size, our demographics don't offer it.
Right.
So you're 100% correct. We are going up against a lot of bigger schools, a lot of private schools. We even go against some prep schools. We play St. Sebastian's, and then you have the BC Highs and Severians and Bridgewater Raynham. So much bigger schools, but. I also think it's impressive that Abington is kind of known as a frisbee school in the frisbee community.
Yeah.
There's a lot of respect for the program that we have here, and we're kind of looked at as a pioneer in the public schools for kind of bringing ultimate frisbee to town, and then really growing the program to a point where it's considered a varsity sport and it gets equal treatment with all of our other sports here.
Well, kudos to you as the athletic director and to the coach to getting that happening, and we're going to hear more and more about ultimate frisbee as we move forward. Speaking of coaches, you had a new coach for girls soccer this year who was a former player for Abington High School girls soccer.
Yeah, girls lacrosse.
I mean lacrosse, sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, lacrosse.
So girls lacrosse, they didn't make the tournament this year, but I really think that they set a great foundation for future success. We had the most girls we believe we've ever had play girls lacrosse. We're over 40 girls, certainly since I've been here.
Wow.
It's the most we've had. And a lot of that credit goes to, we had a new coaching staff. It was a late hire. We were getting a little bit nervous, but Courtney McCabe, who's the all-time leading scorer here, really kind of stepped up for us and said, you know what, I want to give these girls the same experience I had, where lacrosse should be fun. And she didn't want them to miss a season or kind of have somebody come in that couldn't provide that. So she stepped up, and Alyssa McSherry, a longtime supporter of a lot of our programs, stepped in and helped as the JV coach because we did have so many girls who were interested. We had 2 teams, which last year we didn't. And a lot of younger girls got involved and really learned the sport. And I think Courtney and Alyssa really provided a great environment for them to get to know the sport because we do have a youth program now, but it's a newer youth program.
Yeah.
So the upperclassmen didn't really play youth, but some of the underclassmen did. So to kind of make that leap into the high school setting with their guidance was great.
Lacrosse is still a newer sport in this area of Massachusetts, really. I mean, it's been here for now several years, but still new to a lot of people and a lot of parents who go for the first time and have no idea what the rules are. But it's fun to watch, and boys lacrosse did very well. They went into the MIAA playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. They had another strong season. That's another program that, credit to Coach Mike Grafton, who I believe just finished his 4th year. They've qualified for the tournament, back-to-back Sweet 16 runs here, and they've really taken a big jump from where we were prior to Mike coming on board. Where we've moved up into the upper third of our league, and it's probably the most competitive lacrosse league in Division 4 out there. The state championship was the 2 teams ahead of us, Cohasset and Norwell. And they had a big win against Sandwich, who's a perennial lacrosse powerhouse. And they just really had a strong year across the board, growing. They lost a lot last year, but credit to Coach Grafton for kind of building a foundation where they could withstand some of those key losses and kind of continue their path forward.
And even that Sweet 16 game against Oakmont, which if you don't know is way out near New York, I heard it took about 3.5 hours for the bus to get out there. It was a 14-11 game. It was a 2-goal game for most of the game. It was a really competitive game for Abington, who played a very strong opponent. So it was real fun to watch some of those guys play. And as you say, that program is getting stronger and stronger every year, some good coaching. And then, of course, we just met and talked to some of our softball players. That program has been solid and looks like it has a pretty good future ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Softball, for as long as I can remember, in Abington has a strong history. And that's, to go back to compare it to girls lacrosse, softball has had a really strong, thriving youth program for decades. And youth lacrosse, we're talking about, on the girls' side, we're talking a couple of years. So the softball has that foundation. So credit to, all of the families in town, currently working in the youth program and those who have, because it really pays dividends when they get to high school. The students have the foundation, whatever sport it is. And it's not a coincidence that our strongest youth programs tend to feed into our stronger high school programs. But Back to softball, they expect to make a deep run and to win a league championship, which is a really cool thing to see. And sometimes I think the kids forget that what they're accomplishing is so impressive.
It's true.
They're their third Elite Eight run in 4 years.
Yeah.
And we have a number of teams who have never made it to the Elite Eight. So for them to just kind of expect to show up is a credit to them and how hard they work and the commitment that they have. But it's nice to see them continue to achieve things, even though they set the bar so high for themselves.
I don't want to be a homer, but there is something special here in Abington where a lot of our teams succeed, and not just win games, but they qualify for tournaments. They go deep into the tournaments. They get a fan following. In other schools, sometimes they don't enjoy. They might have one team that does pretty well. Abington is kind of, has a lot of success with different programs, and that like baseball. Baseball, again, made the playoffs, and it's 20 out of 22 years they've hit the playoffs, something like that. Impressive under Coach Praxis, who had a health scare in January. Weren't sure he was going to be able to coach. He's there, and the team does really well. And again, another successful year.
Yeah, absolutely. And to them, they were an entirely new team. They really only had two players who received any playing time the previous year. It was a really strong senior class that graduated the previous year, and they went through some growing pains, and they really had a great year. They play a tough schedule, and again, Coach Praxis, like Coach Olin with softball, has kind of set the expectation that we get to the tournament. It's expected, and we compete for a league title. And both those teams won their division in the South Shore League, and made it to the tournament. And baseball, I think one of the cool things about them is Millbury won the Division IV state championship, and their last loss of the season was to Abington.
Yeah.
So their youth certainly showed in some games, but the growth showed too, and the fact that as they get older and stronger, I think the future is bright. They only graduated 2 seniors this year, but pretty much everybody who received significant playing time, should be back next year.
I was talking to Coach Praxis a little bit during the season, and he said similar things, like it's a really young team. And he goes, and they're still making certain mistakes, but they're learning from their mistakes. He sees the progress. And that's another team that, wow, next year, look out. They're coming, a lot of underclass with a lot of good playing time. And you've got the South Shore League Tobin Player of the Year on that team, Ryan Salamini. And we have Elsie Testa, the South Shore League Player of the Year in the softball. I mean, that's pretty impressive for Abington and for the kids in this school, this town, to do that. Just tremendous. And then track. Girls and boys track is just, it's too bad they don't get more visibility, but because of what they do, it's hard to put them on cable TV and everything. But girls and boys track is just through the roof.
Yeah, I know you mentioned Elsie, Testa, and Ryan Salamini winning, Player of the Year in the Social League for the boys track team. Aiden Calcano was the Player of the Year, which is a credit to him. And the boys track team in particular, I definitely want to highlight them. They won the league for the first time in school history.
Yeah.
And some sports you look at and it's, we won this for the first time, we did this for the first time. It's like, well, as you mentioned, girls lacrosse is a newer sport, or volleyball. We've added some sports. Track is one that's been around forever.
Yeah.
One of the kids this year broke a record from 1962. So for them to go out and do something that has never been done in school history, and a program that we've had for such a long time, really speaks to the quality of athletes that we have out there. And they're just a great group of hardworking kids. And again, we're a smaller school, and track is one of those sports where the numbers definitely help, because you have to fill all of the events and multiple players and how the scoring works. So for these kids to be experts and excel in multiple events and be able to score in multiple events and not just specialize really speaks to the quality of athlete.
It's amazing though, especially again this year, girls track was breaking records. Boys track, Aiden Calcano, you mentioned him, he was breaking school records, and then later that week he'd break it again, basically. He'd improve on his previous school record. Just outstanding performances by these guys. And we had them on this show here earlier, and just the character of those kids is unbelievable. The work ethic, but also just how mature they are. Real fun to watch. You got, Vanjie McCleary and the like on the girls track side. The coaching is great. We got a nice facility over there. It's just great to see that track and field facility come alive. And I was joking that if you haven't been up to Riley Field, there's a big sign which has a list of all of the different events and all of the record holders. We're just going to have to replace the sign because we've been trying to change and keep it updated, and it's just like, it's amazing how successful some of these kids are really doing.
Yeah, absolutely. This summer there's going to be a lot of updating and ordering to kind of organize that. And as you mentioned, it's tough to keep track of because they'd break the record and then break it again and break it again.
Yeah.
And some of the kids were going back and forth between who had it. So it's one of the things the coaches really got to sit down and organize. And then it's the other really interesting thing with track is, do we update it now? Because so many of these kids are underclassmen. In particular the sophomore class, whether it's, Aiden Calcano, his brother Nathan, Naz Paulding, Lucas de Oliveira, they're all sophomores. So do we update it now knowing, hopefully they're going to continue to break it for the next few years?
They're all sophomores, and they're record breakers. I mean,
yeah, it's one of the more gifted classes that we've had. And you referenced to the strong character of them. I think one of the great things that a lot of people don't see is our student athletes are doing so many other things beyond just playing. Aiden won the Division V state championship in the hurdles, and it was the next day or a couple days later, he's here at the baseball game on top of the dugout working a camera.
Yeah, as a volunteer.
Yep. Vanjie McCleary, she's out doing all kinds of community service and everything. And I could talk about, all of our kids. Maddie McDonald was just here, and she got up from here and went in the gym to work a basketball camp. So our kids are doing a lot of things in the community that I think are just as special and unique as, their athletic accomplishments.
Let's talk about some of the summer camps that Abington Recreation puts on, because Abington High School athletes are the ones that are kind of helping out and working there with the younger kids. Tell us about some of the programs some of them have already wrapped up, some of them are kind of coming up. Tell us about some of the different sports that the town of Abington offers with cooperation from Abington High School.
Yeah, again, that talks to the feeder programs that we were talking about earlier. Obviously, there's the youth sports, their full season, but in the summer there are opportunities for the youth in town to learn the sport and play the sport through Abington Park and Recreation. So abingtonrec.com is their website. They have a full listing of everything there, but a number of our sports, Coach Paraxos has already happened, but he had his baseball camp, which, he's been around long enough. All
Very
of the
popular
kids who have played for him have gone to his camp, and he kind of takes a lot of pride in that. And, he remembers some kids when they show up and they're 4 or 5 years old, and now they're graduated high school and playing in college. And then, we have a girls basketball camp, there's a boys basketball camp, there's a volleyball camp. There's a softball camp, so it's a great opportunity for the kids in town to go play the sport and have fun and be kids, but also they learn from some of the high school kids and the high school coaches, and it kind of creates that natural transition to, as they get older, it kind of breaks down some of those barriers of the intimidation, or who's this coach, or who are the upperclassmen, because a 7th grader might be at camp with a freshman or sophomore who's kind of helping out with the camp, and then they get to high school and they know each other, they know the coach already, so it's a very welcoming environment. It's very fun, and it's a great opportunity for kids to learn the sport, to get better, but also kind of transition down the road.
I'm amazed at, without even asking them to, how the upperclassmen kind of just treat and just kind of take the younger kids under their wings. Again, most of the time because they experience the same thing, but they just make an effort to make sure that 7th grader, that 8th grader, especially if they're working out in the fitness center, which I want to talk about in a minute, there's no class structure there. It's everyone's in it for themselves. Everyone knows that these kids are part of the system and they're going to help out. But let's talk a minute about the fitness center here at Abington High School and our athletic trainer, Alicia Reed. She has a little program that's going on there too. Yeah,
it's great. So we're very fortunate that we have a phenomenal fitness center here at the school. Most people who come in and see it say that it's nicer than a lot of college fitness centers, which it absolutely is. So Miss Reed works for us throughout the summer, and she actually went out and got her strength and conditioning certification. So she has it open pretty much every day throughout the summer for kids to come in and work out. She has specific times for specific programming that she'll do based off of your sport.
Yep.
And she wrote a program for every sport. So even if you can't come at, if 10 o'clock's geared towards volleyball players, but you can only come at 8 a.m., she has that program and she'll work with you there. And then the other great thing that she's doing is she's doing a lot of injury prevention stuff.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, injuries happen in sports. And it's really devastating to see some of these kids, work so hard and get to the point and have significant injuries, whether it's, you roll an ankle that kind of lingers, or worse, you tear an ACL.
Right.
And she has specific programs that are preventative to help build up the strength in your knees or your ankles or whatever it might be, your shoulder for some of our throwing sports, and for kids to have access to that 100% free.
I was just going to ask you, it's free.
It's free. So we've been fortunate. We have some partnerships with some local private organizations, whether it's a gym, a physical therapy place, and they reach out and say, oh, we'd like to offer this, and this is the cost. And it's like, well, that's nice, and I appreciate you giving us a discount, but our kids can show up to our school with somebody who's trained and certified and do it for free. So it's something that our kids are very fortunate to have. A lot of towns have similar programs that come with a cost.
Wow.
Here, it's just open, and you can come and take advantage of it.
Is there an age group?
So anybody who's entering high school, so anybody
Okay.
who's playing high school sports, it's open to them. So we have some incoming freshmen through, our seniors in high school can get in there and work out, and certainly plenty of kids will be in there to take advantage of her programming. But some other kids can just come and kind of work out and do some cardio.
Stay healthy.
Yeah, and it's air conditioned. So this week it was a great place for kids to be able to come and get out of the heat, but also kind of exercise and get ready for their season.
So if there's a student out there or a parent who wants to get their student involved, how do they find the schedule or kind of learn more about
So
it?
anybody who registered for a fall sport, Miss Reed sent the schedule out to them,
Okay.
but it's also available on her Instagram and her Twitter account, the hours that are there, but it's pretty much after July 4th, it's every Monday through Thursday from 8 a.m. to 3, and then Fridays are pared back a little bit.
Yep.
But yeah, it's pretty much every day, and oftentimes when she can't make it, if there's she has something during those hours, somebody covers it.
Yep.
So when in doubt, I tell kids show up. Usually the fitness center is open, and it's an opportunity for you to get a workout in.
That fitness center, you and I were both on the school building committee when we built this, and that fitness center has received a lot of accolades from people from other schools who have come here, and college athletes have come here and said, this is the equipment that's here and the way it's organized is tremendous. And that's really credit to you and to Casey, because the stock fitness center that comes with most schools was kind of laid out on the table to you guys, and you're like, no, this isn't going to work. We can improve it for the same amount of money and make it much more efficient and effective for our kids. And you and Kate, I thought, did an excellent job. And now you're hearing it from everyone saying, how did you guys get this? It's because you guys knew.
Yeah, it was a lot of work, and I'm glad you mentioned Kate. She was the wellness director at the time,
Yeah.
and a coach, and has a passion for fitness. So we kind of looked at what they gave us, and I think there were 20 pieces of cardio and 10 treadmills, and kind of like we're gearing this towards high school kids, and there was one rack, and we're like, let's revamp it. So we put our heads together, and we reached out to some alumni who had some experience at the collegiate level and had a background in that. I know Jack Melafonte, who's a graduate, who now works for the New England Revolution. He was kind of instrumental in, hey, did you think about this? Did you do this? It was really a community effort to design a community space. And for the first few years, our kids were in awe of it because they remembered the old weight room at the high school,
right.
And now it's just kind of an expectation for our kids that this is it. And some of them, I think, appreciate and understand how lucky they are. But again, it's a credit to the culture and the longstanding tradition here. Now it's just an expectation that that's what they have, and kids are really lucky, whether they realize it or not, to have somebody like Miss Reed to run that program, but also to have the space.
And even during the school year, I know the middle school kids and high school kids, they use that as part of their physical education too, and it's available after school and all. It's again, it's tremendous, and it's a great way for kids to meet other kids of different ages and know that they're welcome, and always supported by the other ones that are there. It's just a fantastic asset that this school and this town has. And to your point, the training that they get there, like Alicia and others, show the kids how to work out, how to train, how to lift weights safely and properly, which is huge. You know, if you have a kid doing it in their basement, they might not get the same benefit and they might hurt themselves. And it helps them, you know, as you mentioned, prevent injuries by working out the right way. And it lets kids obviously play every season and try to avoid that bad knee problem and whatnot.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you look at the success of our teams, our most successful teams tend to have the kids who put the most work in.
Yeah.
It's not a big secret. Whether it's, you know, sports specific work, you know, I'm sure, you know, you got Elsie and Maddie, and they put a ton of time in the off season honing their craft. But it's also the kids putting the time in the fitness center. You know, we've had some teams where other high school students will be like, what are they doing here? What are they doing here? It's like, well, they're very successful because they put the work in. And a lot of people don't see that. You know, kids are in the gym or in the weight room for a lot of hours. And, you know, sometimes people are jealous or just assume that, you know, pick a student that, oh, they're just lucky, they're very successful, and they don't appreciate the amount of hours that they put in. And a lot of that is in the summer and in the off season.
Yeah, and you know, they make the effort to get out of bed, get down here, whatever, and that brings up some of the successes in all of our. I'm just going to read the list of the All-Stars just from this past spring season. Okay, baseball: Ryan Solomini, Cam Cooper, Mason Nash, and Will Callahan were all South Shore League All-Stars. And as I mentioned, Ryan Solomini was named Player of the Year for the South Shore League Tobin Division. Girls lacrosse: Molly Joyce, All-Star, great kid, was an alumni here of the Buzz. Boys lacrosse: Matthew Grafton, Gunnar Hanna, Nick Harris, Lee Spry, all All-Stars for Abington. Girls track: Emma Flanagan, Vanjie McCleary, and Janelle White. Talk to them. I mean, just great. Another young team that is just coming up and is going to be blowing out people and breaking records. Boys track: these are our All-Stars. Naz Paulding, Thomas Muniz, Lucas de Oliveira, Damian Montero, Aiden Calcano, and Nathan Calcano. They're twins. And the Tobin Player of the Year, Aiden Calcano. Unbelievable. And then softball: Brenna Brenna, Elsie Testa, Malia Goldberg, and Manny McDonald, all All-Stars, and Elsie Testa.
And Riley Agnew was another one.
And Riley Agnew, I'm sorry, skipped right over. Sorry, Riley. And Elsie Testa was the Player of the Year. I mean, impressive to have not only the amount of success for the teams, but to have all those kids from Abington be named All-Stars among all of the other schools. It's really says something to their personal effort and success, but also just the atmosphere that, I got to say, Peter, as the athletic director, you're the one that kind of sets that tone. And I know the boosters, you know, provide a lot of help, and get the parent support. Alicia, as our athletic trainer, is a godsend. Just a lot of great things that are going on in here. We mentioned, so that's the spring. The summer, we mentioned the day camp. Looking forward to the fall for Green Wave Sports. We've got football coming up, soccer, volleyball, cross country, cheer, and golf all coming up. How many kids in Abington High School are actually involved in sports?
So obviously it varies season to season, but at any given time, a little over half of our students are playing a sport.
Wow.
And you know, about 70% of our kids will play a sport in a given year. So a lot of kids, you know, so it's about 250 kids a season.
Wow.
You know, obviously some seasons are a little bit more than others, some are a little bit less. But yeah, the kids are involved, and that's from the freshman level up to the varsity level. So obviously, you know, we talk a lot about the varsity sports, but there's sub-varsity as well, freshmen and JV, where the younger kids are getting an opportunity to get out there and play.
In a fun way too, you know, with those younger kids and stuff. You caught me when you said 70% of the kids in Abington play at least one sport.
Yeah, it's right around 70%.
Unbelievable.
Varies year to year. But that's the thing that a lot of people don't get is a lot of kids just participate to be on a team.
Yeah.
And that's the really good thing about Abington High School. Somebody once asked me, why don't we have more managers? So if you look at some of the other schools we play or some of the big schools, this person in particular was referencing a private school. Well, they have X number of managers on the team. Why don't we? And it's because in Abington, if you want to be on the team, you're on the team.
Right.
It's not, we're not cutting kids, and most of the time a manager's somebody who wants to be a part of the team but may not have the talent or the ability to, and there are a limited number of spots. In Abington, if you want to play, you play, which is great. We really only have one sport that consistently makes cuts in boys basketball, and volleyball occasionally will need to. And both of those teams end up with some managers and so forth. But for the most part, if you want to play, you get to play, and you're truly a part of the team, which is a unique experience. But I think it's a great experience. I'd much rather have a kid be on the team and be a part of the team if they want to be, than want to be on the team and not be able to.
Right. And before we wrap up, I want to talk about, let's mention the fall once again. A lot of promising seasons coming up with the football team and volleyball, soccer, track, cross country. That I want to give a shout out to the coaches here at Abington High School. We got a real good crew of coaches. Some of them are relatively new. Some of them have been here for quite some time. And, you know, they have to deal with a lot of the time they put into planning their practices, planning their game strategies, dealing with some of the difficulties that some of the kids have, whether it be personal or injuries or whatever. I just think you got to be real proud of some of the output that you get from some of the coaches, some of which are teachers here at Abington High School, some of them are not. But I think a lot of people admire the coaching staff here.
Yeah, absolutely. We're extremely fortunate here that we have a great group of coaches. And the thing that I take a lot of pride in and love about our coaches is they don't just coach in season. They're there year round. You know, if a kid is struggling in a class, I'll use Steve Praxis as an example. In October, a teacher knows that they can go to Coach Praxis and say, hey, so and so is having a hard time in math class, and he's going to reach out to that kid and he's going to stay on top of him. And the same goes for all of our sports. And I don't know, or I know that the majority of the people don't appreciate the time and effort that goes in. With the softball girls earlier, I think you were talking about the scouting reports and so forth. Coach Olam's, driving 3 hours on a Sunday to go see a team that they might play, maybe they don't. And the amount of hours that they watch in film. One of our coaches, joked like, "Oh, I'm gonna charge you for that." And I'm like, "Oh, sure, bill me at your hourly rate because it works out to be less than $1 an hour." But none of our coaches are doing it for that. But ultimately, they put in a lot of time because they love the opportunity to work with kids and see the kids' growth throughout their 4 years. And yes, all of our coaches are competitive and want to win. But ultimately, what drives them is seeing the kids grow and graduate from high school in a position that they're better able to contribute to society than when they first came to us.
And I think it works both ways too, that when the coaches see how hard the kids are working, like in the off season and things, the coach knows, like, I need to be prepared because these kids are putting the time in, I'm going to put the time in. And when the kids see what the coaches are bringing to the table, scouting reports, new plays, just a strategy, teaching them how to be a better player, the kids know, like, I got to step up my game and I got to be ready to answer the call and do what the coach asked me. And it's a recipe for success, and we've done a lot. And one thing I wanted to bring up too is something that's near and dear to both of us. You and I have been working along with a lot of other people about trying to also update and upgrade some of the sports facilities here for all of our, not only just the high school kids, but for the other youth sports that use the different fields and facilities in Abington. And we have to give a big shout out to the Community Preservation Committee and the residents of Abington who approved that those funds can be used for historical preservation and for housing and for recreational use, investments in the facilities. And we've been very successful working with them, and just throw in anything I've forgotten, but we greatly improved the varsity softball diamond. We put in the new dugouts, got a new scoreboard there. That was actually part of the American Rescue Plan for the federal funds. So had a nice upgrade to that, and put bleachers down at the softball because they're getting more and more fans down there. And then over on the football field, we got a new scoreboard that replaced the scoreboard from the 1980s. That was, the light bulbs weren't even working anymore, so now we got a new scoreboard, new sound system, and of course, brand new light system down there from 1990. Those lights, and couldn't replace those bulbs anymore, so thankfully we were able to put that project together. And part of the Memorial Field improvements we just finished was relocating the junior varsity baseball field, which put it out what used to be called the Dust Bowl because it was an area that you really couldn't use because grass wasn't growing and it was just rocky. Now it's a beautiful baseball field, and where the JV field was is a beautiful sodded grass area, which all the different sports, youth soccer was out there a couple days ago using it, and I think people notice it and appreciate it, and it kind of helps with all those people who volunteer in Abington for all those youth sports to try to give them nice places to play and safe places for the kids to enjoy. We got more to do, but we've done a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the great things to note and for people to be aware of is the majority of the improvements, especially over the last 5 years that we've done, we've been able to do outside of our regular operating budget. So, you mentioned the American Rescue Plan. That was huge for our facilities.
Yeah.
The new softball scoreboard, the softball dugouts, the bleachers, the football scoreboard. You mentioned its age. It's funny, this year, the company that services it actually said we can no longer service those scoreboards. So had we not had the funding from the American Rescue Plan, we would now be faced with the decision, are we going to spend the tens of thousands of dollars for a scoreboard, or are we not going to have one because it was so old? So the fact that we were able to take advantage of that, and through the American Rescue Plan, we were also able to put a new varsity infield in. So all of these things we've been able to do in what I think is a very fiscally responsible way, where it hasn't taken out of our operating budget. And then, credit to John Stone and the DPW and Steve Praxis, who works over there, town manager and superintendent for getting behind these projects, and then also helping us continue with the maintenance and kind of maintain them, kind of the upkeep. People still talk about the baseball field as being new, and we're about 4 seasons into it, but Steve Praxis has built a culture where the kids are out there raking it after practice.
The varsity field, which is 4 years old, and the JV is brand new.
Yeah. But now things tend to stay new because people appreciate them, and that's a credit to the people in town kind of working through and supporting those projects, but also after the project is done, hopefully continue to maintain them for the future.
Yeah, and I think people kind of also want to join the success of it, because like youth softball got some approved funds from Community Preservation Committee to now improve the second softball field down next to the varsity softball field. So that it just kind of expands, and the community sees the reinvestment that it pays money, and that community preservation money has been shown up all around town. Even it put the new track surface on that the track and field facility several years ago. That was a $250,000 project that the taxpayers wouldn't normally be able to afford. The school couldn't take it out of their budget, but the community preservation has been a godsend for that. Not to mention that we have two beautiful turf fields out here with lights for our lacrosse and soccer programs. So the town has a lot, and there's always something. I mean, people talk about, youth sports is great for the kids, but it's also great for the parents, because it's a great place where you meet people. That's how families get to meet people. You meet on the sidelines, you have a little competition. I was joking with some friends of mine just the other day about how when I used to coach youth sports against them, they'd be the other coach. We had just so much fun at a youth level trying to win in a good way, in a fun way. It really builds a community with this out on the sports fields and in the basketball courts and the hockey rinks. And we got street hockey rinks going to be coming up at Arnold Park, thanks to a coalition from Abington Hockey. Coach Brian Woodford went to the Community Preservation Committee, and that's going to be the next improvement to, again, give those kids a place to go where it's safe and fun. So good things going on in Abington right now, and it's kind of nice to be able to go to other towns and brag about what we have and how we do it, and the people that support our kids, and the kids that really, I think, eventually they kind of recognize that we got a pretty good thing going here. So kudos to you, Mrs. Serino, as the athletic director. Like I said, I know you don't like taking credit for a lot of stuff, but you're the guy that kind of keeps the ship moving forward, and just a lot of people kind of flock to the success, and when you have that type of volunteerism, that really bodes well for the town of Abington.
Yeah, absolutely. We're very fortunate, and hopefully it's something we can keep going and kind of catapult into next school year. Kids are back in August 15th, it's the first day of practices.
Is it? Wow.
So summer's short, but we're looking forward to it.
I can't wait, because I'll be with Abington Cam up in the press box at the football games, and I'll also be going on, watching some of the other sports games whenever we can. So we got a summer, the kids will work out. Peter and I will try to catch up on a few things that we've had to put on the back burner, and we'll be getting ready for fall sports coming up. Only 2 months from now, really. So again, thank you for coming on The Buzz. Thanks for the updates. Congratulations to all the kids out there, the student athletes and the coaches who just did so well, not this past spring season, but all throughout the last year here, representing your town, your school, and your community very well. We want to thank you for your efforts. And I thank you for tuning in here at The Buzz. And thank you to all the parents and volunteers that just make it happen and really support the student athletes and the students in the next generation here at Abington High School. Thanks for tuning in to The Buzz. We will see you in a few weeks with a little preview of our fall sports season.